It's one of the worst storms to hit Florida, and Southwest Florida took the brunt of it.
Charley devastated Charlotte County before moving on to Central Florida. The storm ended up killing 15 people.
Fox 4 anchor Nadine Yanis went back to one community in Punta Gorda and spoke to the 8 neighbors who not only survived, but worked tirelessly to bring their neighborhood back to life after the storm.
When Hurricane Charley hit Southwest Florida 18 years ago, it was a nearly direct hit here at Windmill Village in Punta Gorda, where then 454 manufactured homes stood. By the time the storm was gone, only 30 were left. Today, we're hearing from the survivors and the lessons learned all these years later. We sat down with these 8 neighbors who lived through Hurricane Charley, and who each have their own stories of survival. And for Ray Rubin, it only took one question to take him back to August 2004. Ray, if you had to sum up your experience with Charley in a few words to start off.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Something that I don't want to go through again.
Rubin writing out the Category 4 storm at a friend's house, his wife showing.
And this is where we stayed during the hurricane.
How all 7 of them and 2 dogs hid in a hallway as the storm that afternoon took a last-minute sharp turn straight to Punta Gorda. The couple then coming back to what was left of Windmill Village.
The damage was unreal. I can't.
I know.
The houses were just rubble.
It was around this time, then seasonal resident Joe Strohmeyer got the call his home was destroyed and began documenting his experience in a diary.
I've got a section in this diary that I'm giving to you called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. We had it. Excuse me. I just felt so sorry for the people.
I asked if he could read a section.
I can't.
Instead, he kept it closed. Jim Book documenting those same personal moments through pictures, showing how homeowners spray painted their names and insurance companies on the walls that still stood.
I've never seen so much devastation of personal property, I don't think, in my life. Unfortunately, a lot of the older people couldn't afford to rebuild. They didn't have insurance on the homes.
For Janet McLean, she was working at the hospital, where from the 3rd floor, she watched as her home right across the street was torn from the winds that reached 150 miles per hour.
I watched my home start to come apart until all of a sudden you saw was white and debris flying through the air.
These 4, to this day, still apprehensive as hurricane season approaches.
Before, I really wasn't frightened. You know, it happens to other people. You never think it's going to happen to you. Changed my mind.
I just learned that I'll never stay for another one.
Now all offering this advice, even 18 years later.
I would tell them to prepare, have water, have food, have plans to evacuate if you got to get out.
Be prepared. When you hear, be prepared. Because we had nothing, you know, we wasn't expecting it. We was expecting it to hit Tampa. And then all of a sudden, boy, within a couple hours, it hit us.
Make sure you have enough medication for a couple weeks, and make sure there's gasoline in your vehicles, a full tank.
I always try to be prepared, because you just never know, and hope you find as many great people as we did.
In Punta Gorda, Nadine Yanis, Fox 4.